Welcome back to Terrific Taste. On the menu today, cheeseburger soup with crispy onions. So we start off with the list of ingredients from cheeseburger down to the chiffonade of the iceberg lettuce to the string, the thin onions that we're going to use as our garnish. So well thought out. But this literally is my own recipe. It tastes literally just like a cheeseburger. And so an iceberg lettuce is always on a burger bun. I like my onion strings as well. The onion strings add a little texture to it. So I think it's a really fun dish to make. But you can also make it pretty gorgeous. So I'll start off with the oil in the pan, in the soup pan. I'm going to get that to temp. And then I'm going to take my diced onions and throw those guys right in. Let them not even brown, just sweat a little bit. And then you're going to go straight to your next bit of ingredients. So piece by piece, I'm just going to add my ground beef in. You could do little meatballs, but that kind of just seems like meatball soup to me. I just kind of want it meat throughout, kind of like a chili con carne. So I'm doing it this way, and I'm not going to use anything other than Montreal seasoning. I think a burger tastes best with Montreal seasoning, so I use Montreal seasoning in this. I'm not going to add salt until the very end, but once I start to see that there's my sprinkle of Montreal seasoning. And I'm just going to go straight in with this. Add the rest of my, you're going to do your ground beef in small batches. Keep it all in, but it's my way of controlling the amount of oil that comes in it. And also like kind of cook and drain. But what I'm going to do at the very end is just drain. This is 80%, 80-20 ground beef is what I use. So wasn't a whole lot of fat in it to begin with, but I'm just going to drain that little bit of fat. You can see it at the very bottom, but as soon as you stir it, it kind of goes away. I'm going to take this and scoop or drain some of that oil off before I go with the next ingredient. Once I let my oil drain off, I'm going to go in with my canned tomatoes. Straight in with that, and I just want to make sure I get all that in there. So shake it around, stir it around a little bit, and let this sit, let it settle, let the meat finish cooking in this tomato mixture, and I'm going straight in with my chicken broth. This is the base for my soup. After giving this a quick stir, I'm just going to go right in with my cream now, because what I'm basically going to do is make a cheese sauce out of this now. So you see the elements of the cheese, the tomatoes represent the ketchup, but you're also going to see me, you notice there was ketchup and mustard, so you're also going to see me fold that in, because I want this literally to taste like a cheeseburger, like a sloppy cheeseburger every time I bite it. That's what I want to taste, this cheeseburger. So you're going to want to bring this to a boil. As soon as you see it starting to bubble, if you check the center, around that outer edge of the center of the pan, you'll see it starting to bubble. This is now when you want to go ahead and add your cream in, because you're about to make your cheese sauce. You can add a roux to thicken it, but I think it's with the cream, it's thick enough as it is. The cheese will make it thick as well. So you don't necessarily need to add the flour and butter, depending on the consistency that you want. I am going to go without it in this case, because while I thought I would need it, it ended up looking thick enough and being thick enough for me at the end. So you'll see me come in with the cream pretty soon, and then we'll move on to the next step. Again, once you add the cream, it's going to slightly reduce the temperature of your pot because you're adding cold into warm. So you want to just let this come to a complete boil once you stir it all in. And then you want to go with your cheese sauce. I had, and in some situations, you just use what you have available. So I got some crackers and cheese the other day. So I'm literally just using those slices from the crackers that I had the other day. And I'm also going in with a little bit of the shredded cheese for this as well. And I'm just going to stir this till it gets to the thickness and consistency that I want. Now remember, I want all the elements of a good burger. So in I go with my ketchup, and then I go with my mustard. Toss it right in. This is really gonna give me that cheeseburger taste. So I'm just taking a little spoon and stirring that in, make sure it's all incorporated. And then we're pretty much done with this. I'm gonna add salt and pepper. I'm gonna taste it first, see how much, because cheese does have salt in it. So I wanna taste it first, add my salt and pepper once I taste it. If I need to. There's my crank, my grinder, my salt, and then my pepper. Careful with these things, because if you hold it too close to the steam, it does steam up and kind of affects the way they work. So you got to wipe it out, clean it, whatever. So just be careful when you're doing if you're doing a grinder over top of it. It's easier to just take a bowl of it and toss it in liberally with your hand. That way you don't have that issue that I had later with the grinder. But again, I'm going to stir this in, let it sit for a moment, and then we're going to move on to the next part of this, what I think is one of the most underrated dishes you can ever make. It is truly a crowd pleaser, and definitely if you have grandkids or kids or friends coming over, it's one of those things that just surprises people. And the elegant way that we end up setting it up is also one that you can make something fun be elegant as well. So now for my crispy onions, I'm going to take 1 part flour, 1 part cornstarch, add salt and pepper. I already cut my onions as thinly as you can slice them. I'm going to soak those in just plain milk because I need them to adhere to the flour once I start to fry. once I start to shallow fry, not deep fry, but shallow fry these. So you see me add my seasoning, salt and pepper to this as well. Stir this up, and then all I'm gonna do is take my onions, my onion strings, and drain them of the milk. And then I'm gonna pour them right into this flour mixture, mix them up with my hands. Take a strainer, a straining basket, put the whole thing in there and shake it so that excess flour comes off. And then I'm going to take a pan of a soup pan, put a little bit of oil in the bottom, and then just cook a few at a time, not the whole thing. You don't want to take a whole lump because it's going to cook as one lump. So you kind of want to take a few at a time and cook them, as you'll see in the video coming up. So here's me mixing them, and now I'm just going to pull them apart with my hand and put them in a basket, and just shake them aggressively so they come apart. And then you'll see me fry them one by one, literally about 6 or 7 at a time is what I'm going to end up doing, and do them in 3 batches. For me, I like them in various stages of frying, right? So I'll do some that are kind of golden brown, some that are a little darker than golden brown, and some that are brown, like ridiculously brown. But I like that because it gives me different hues and different contrasts. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Finally, and I go with the frying. Again, I'm just going to add them with my hand, a few at a time. And I'm going to do these at, like I said earlier, different phases. I want to do some that are a little under golden brown, some that are golden brown, and some that are dark brown. And I like the different hues that it gives me as I set them up on the plate for the final dish. So for my plating, I'm just going to use a oversized bowl. And this, I'm putting in more than a portion size, obviously, so it'll film a lot better. You don't have to go this high with it. It's a lot of food in here. But honestly, I ate the whole thing because I guess I got greedy. But it's really, really, really tasty. And I'm going to go straight in with my chiffonade of lettuce first. Then I'm going with my crispy onions on top. And ultimately, I'm going more onions on top. And then I'm going to cut some parsley and take the parsley leaves and sprinkle them around for a little more color. And I will take some more of the chiffonade of iceberg lettuce and put that around the plate as well. Again, I just want you, with every bite, I kind of want you to taste like you're biting into a delicious burger, like an old school burger, not these burgers they make these days. But a delicious, elegant, tasty burger. But again, I would put this plate with any other plate as far as how nice it looks, but also how that compares to how it tastes. You always eat first. I always say you eat first with your nose. Smell attracts you to it. Then your eyes. But the taste has to confirm what your nose and your eyes say. This does all 3 things, all 3 phases of a great dish. I hope you make it. Let me know how it turns out for you. Again, cheeseburger soup with crispy onions. Thank you and enjoy.